Hey everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I'm going to share with you, this is actually my first time doing this as a 3-step stamp. I'm going to be sharing a video featuring To a Wild Rose, which is a 3-step stamp. Ugh, that's a tongue twister. And I will tell you, these are some of my favorite stamps. However, I always buy them and I never use them because I struggle with the color choices, the placement of the stamps with lining them up and everything. So what I thought I would do this time, luckily it's a photopolymer stamp, so you do get some gorgeous ideas. So there's a couple sample cards down there. There's one over here, and the cool part about this is it has two of them that are just in black and white and one in color, which I think really gives a cool pop. And it also does have a coordinating stamp die set, I should say. So if you buy both, when you buy both in my online store, you will save 10%. So what I did was I went ahead and picked out a couple color combinations that I figured we could try. So I have one pink and one orange, because pinks and orange do kind of go together, even though they're on opposite ends of the color spectrum. Another thing you could do would be purples and orange, which would be really pretty as well. So you could do 3 shades of purple. So I'm going to try these first. So I have Petal Pink, Flirty Flamingo, and Melon Mambo. And then for the yellows, I have So Saffron, Mango Melody, and Pumpkin Pie, which I know might be a little bit odd of a combination. Another one you could do if you wanted to do a purple one, once you get Purple Posy, I was fortunate enough that mine was okay when I ordered it, or maybe I just didn't realize it wasn't okay and never sent it back. So you could do Purple Posy, Gorgeous Grape, and then I think not Highland Heather, sorry, Blackberry Bliss would look nice, and I even think Rich Razzleberry would look pretty as well. So maybe I can try to do one of those as well. And then I picked 3 colors for the leaves. So I went with Mint Macaron, Call Me Clover, and Shaded Spruce. So I kind of thought they were all in the same tone family. So I'm going to do just a few leaves, and I'm just going to work on playing around kind of today with the stamps. I'm not actually going to finish a card, but what I will do is I will finish a card and post it that will go along with this. So the easiest thing that I did for these stamps, and I've seen this idea from several other stampers, is to kind of mark one spot. That way you will know where the kind of like the point is to line it up. So this would be the first stamp. This is the flattest part. And then we have the much detailed part, which I'm guessing would probably be third. So this would be first, second is this one, and then third. Now, one other thing about this stamp set, this was designed by Mary Ellen Byler. She was recently a $1 million seller, which is awesome. So congratulations to her. So you will find they have a little $1 million sales mark on there, which is also pretty cool. One other thing is this is, and I wanted to make sure I said it before I made a mistake. This is a distinctive stamp. So it is a new patent, which kind of basically gives a really 3-dimensional image to the stamps. So this is something that Stampin' Up has come up with, and you'll notice that it'll say distinctive ink, INK distinctive on the package, or I should say on the package in the book. And that's these stamps right here. And they have a really realistic look when you stamp them. One other thing I want to note is when you have a new stamp, photopolymer, it's kind of nice sometimes to either kind of rub it on your hand. It kind of gets a little bit of the tackiness off of the stamp if you've never used it before. You can also pre-dip if you notice that you ever have any spots that aren't really stamping the way you think they should. You could also pre-dip it in Versamark. It kind of preps the stamp for ink. But we're going to start with our flat base stamp first. I say base, I don't really know that it's base, and I'm going to go with the lightest color. So I'm going to do Petal Pink. And again, I made a mark, so these are kind of all lined up. So I'm going to do two stamps. So I'll do Petal Pink. Okay. And then I'm going to close that one up. Then I'm going to do Flirty Flamingo. And that's going to be for my second one. So again, I have this here, so I kind of went up. So the cool part about these is that since it is photopolymer, you can actually see through it, which is pretty cool. So Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to just kind of line that up where I think it goes, which is pretty. So it's kind of starting to look a little bit more lifelike. And then finally, I'm going to add in Melon Mambo. So again, my little black mark is right here, so it'll go just like that. funny when you go from the foam pads back to the linen pads. You forget how to press. All right, so this will be, just make sure that's lined up nicely. And also, when you have photopolymer, you do want to give it a few seconds for the ink to transfer from the stamp to the paper. So, really beautiful. And I probably could have done a little bit better of a job when I lined this up, but I think that's pretty good for a first stamp. So that was with the pinks. I'm just going to grab my chamois and I'm going to wipe these 3 off. And we will move on to the oranges, and then I'll do the purples last, and then I'll show you a couple of leaves as well. So now we're going to start again opposite. We're going to start with the So Saffron first. Okay, so I'm going to do the full stamp in So Saffron. I think every time I ink my So Saffron, I think I need to re-ink it, and then I think I realize that I just did. And it's also sometimes just the linen pad. So I'm going to do this one again. So this time I have it off to the side. And I'm doing that just that way I can cut hopefully multiples and use them for something. So there's the So Saffron. So then I have my middle one. So again, I have my black mark here. I'm going to do Mango Melody. So same thing again, just tapping that in. Looks pretty good. Ooh, oopsie, have a little booger of sorts on there. I'll line this up. Is that right? Where is this one? Let me see. So my corner there. So this should be just, there we go, just like that. And sometimes it's kind of hard to tell because of the way the stamp is designed. It makes it look a little off, if that makes sense. This one is actually lined up perfectly because there's parts that are missing from it, so it kind of always makes you second guess yourself. My black mark is here on this one. Second guess whether or not I lined this up in the correct spot. All right, so then my last one, I believe, I'm making sure I'm in the right spot, is going to be right here. So this was, again, Pumpkin Pie. You could also do this with Flirty Flamingo and then a light one, so you could either use Blushing Bride or you could use the Petal Pink again. Oh, that is so pretty. That one, I lined that one up perfectly. You totally cannot beat that. I don't even know how that happened. I must have been channeling the Rainbow Stamper on that one. But you could do Calypso Coral as your kind of like pink orange, and then you could have like a combo, which would be a really cool one. All right, so for the final flower, I'm going to start with Purple Posy. So we're still waiting to hear. They, if you aren't aware, Stampin' Up! Wasn't happy with the Purple Posy. So as you can see there, it is a little bit foamy when it stamps, but I guess I just never noticed it. So I'm going to stamp this one up again. It is foamy, and they did redesign the pads this year that they're not supposed to be foamy. So they kind of halted the ordering of the Purple Posy because they wanted to make sure that they could give everyone the best product, obviously, except for those people like me who weren't paying a bit of attention. All right, so now I have Gorgeous Grape, and I'm thinking I probably should have gone a little bit lighter, but that's okay. Gorgeous Grape. And then hopefully the Blackberry Bliss will cover over this. But that will be coming out eventually. I don't know when. They're still working to get the ink pad situation fixed. So Purple Posy is still kind of on a mysterious hiatus. All right, so again, my black mark is up top here. So I'm going to make sure I try to line that up nicely. And I have to say, this one was kind of one that really didn't catch my eye at first. But oh, look at that. That is so cool. It really looks like a 3D flower. Really, really pretty. Okay, so there are those. So that was again in purples. So I'm going to wipe these off, and now we're going to do a few leaves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you what I did for the leaves because I did the flowers ahead of time. So I'll kind of explain to you what I was trying to tell you with the lining up and the Sharpie. So make sure these are nice and clean. Okay, so let me move a few of these things over. and I'm going to put my greens there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put these back. So as you see, when you pull these off, actually I ended up getting that one lined up on there. So what I did was I kind of went with how they were, and I lined up so they would match. I'll show you what I mean. Like this one matches right here on the point, and then this point, even though it's turned a little bit, so I lined that one up. So it will make it easier once I stamp, so I could find the same matching point. Again, the great part about this is since it's photopolymer, it is immensely easier to do it. So now what I have is, I'm going to show you how to do this with the leaves. So give me 1 second. So basically, we don't need that one. What I do is, and I put my Sharpie away, as I get a Sharpie, and I kind of find, obviously leaves are a little bit easier because you have them all being the same design. So this is going to be our first stamp here. So what I'm going to do is, where that little tip is, right here, the tip of the leaf, is I'm just going to mark a little black mark. Like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. So it's kind of where the tip of the leaf is there. And then I'm going to do the same on this because it isn't pointing directly with the rest of it. It's kind of going to the side. There you go. Okay, so now this will make more sense. I'm going to pull this off. I'm just going to put these onto three same stamps that I had out. So there's 1, 2. And then this one is more the outline. Okay, and I'm hearing some thunder in the distance. So I'm hoping I can finish this up. Be sad if I got, I've never used these before. So again, I'm just going to ink these. Kind of just putting on my hands to just get a little bit of the tack off. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start once again with the lightest. And I'm going to stamp 2 of these. So I have the lightest. This is Mint Macaron. There's 1, 2, and actually I'm going to stamp the third without re-inking. So there's 1. And for the second one, I'm going to go with Call Me Clover. So that's going to be the more of like the veins, like the inside veins of the stamp. So then you can see I have my black line here. So I'm going to, this is much simpler to line up. Stamp that there. And I'm going to stamp this one here. Okay, and this one I'm going to do without re-inking. So this one will be just lighter all the way around. 3. Okay, so there's that. Didn't line that one up quite as well as I would have liked to have, but no biggie. And then for the third one, Shaded Spruce. And this is going to be the actual deep veins of the stamp. So just take this. And I'll do 1. Probably could even have started your first color, maybe with soft sea foam would have been really pretty. But this is just gorgeous. Even just the way it is. Oh yeah, it's really starting to get dark here. It's been really hot lately, so not surprising whatsoever. So there are those 3. And you can see you have 3 leaves. These I probably would try again just to do a little bit lighter. So just as a matter of fact, I'm going to just try this real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my colors a little bit. I'm going to make my first color, I'm going to stick with mint for the first color, but for the second one, I'm going to take out the Call Me Clover because I think it's just a little bit dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Soft Sea Foam, Mint Macaron, and then Shaded Spruce. So let's try that one time. So again, I have my base leaf. Let me turn this over. And the Soft Sea Foam is so light, I usually tend to never stamp that twice because it's so light, it's really hard to pick up the second color. And then for the middle color, again, I'll use the Mint Macaron. There's 2. Oh, I stamped that one off. Okay, there's 2. And I'll bring in my final with the Shaded Spruce. So if you haven't given this a look, maybe you could check in the catalog and see. Really, really pretty. Super versatile. You don't even have to use all of the stamps, because I did a bunch of them just with the outline stamps for some of my Magnolia cards. That looks super cool. Super, super cool. So it does give a bit more depth. And again, I think this just was not necessarily great colors. I think it's really pretty, and it definitely will lighten up once it dries, but this definitely gives a much more depth to a real leaf. So you can also finish these out with like some Wink of Stella or something like that. But a cool couple of color combinations. And again, I will cut these out and make some cards with them, and then I will share this all together on a blog post. So thank you all so much for watching. Remember, you can buy all of these supplies and more in my online store, which is rachthestamper.stampinup.net 24/7. And if you do purchase a die and a stamp combo, so they have a lot of them that are in bundles, which means when you buy the two things together, you save 10%. And we also do have a lot of things that are in suites in this current catalog. So that's another way to get it, because you do still get the 10% discount with purchasing in a suite. So you will get a discount on the stamp set and the die, but you also do save about $5 on all the other stuff that you get with it versus if you purchase it separately. Plus you only have to use one code, and then you can get everything at the same time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.